Hey, what's going on? You're watching yet another edition of the Dark Hour. I'm here with two of the guys from Cradle of Filth, probably one of the fastest rising bands in the black metal scene today.
That's hard.
That's hard. Well, you have to be...
Conquest.
Let's first talk about the deal with Cacophonous and what happened with them and how'd you bring to be picked up by Music for Nations now?
Well, as far as Cryptophonous Records went,
they blew off in a storm.
Yeah, they didn't pay us any money. So we instigated a lawsuit against them, got ourselves a good solicitor, managed to win the court case. It was like a year long or something. So out of that, we got off the label. They still haven't paid us any money. We're sending some like auditors in a couple of weeks to try and find out what happened to all our sales and all the cash that they robbed off us. So then we just sort of flirted amongst some record labels until we got a good deal, which was evidently Music for Nations.
You first started out like a death metal band with your first demos and stuff, and then with Principles of Evil Made Flesh, the look was more black metal. And even some people now, like since you lost the Corpse Paint, are even saying you're almost a goth band. What do you think about that, and how can you explain the changes?
I've not lost the corpse paint. Really.
No, it's brilliant how people read into so many things, you know. Like some mornings you'd get up, or some evenings, should I say, mornings, that's anathema.
Morning with you.
You'll be in a different frame of mind, and we were in weird frames of mind, you know, like, I don't know, we do some pretty bizarre things as a band. We don't consider it, you know, everybody thinks they're like planned, like missions, you know, like this album we're going to look like that. It was just how we were that day when we were doing a photo shoot. I don't think we lost the Corpse Paint. I think we were wearing it when we were doing the demos. It wasn't necessarily death metal. We always just considered ourselves being an extreme band. Unfortunately, the whole rise of the Norwegian black metal scene kind of swallowed up, you know, our imagery coincided, and so we got, you know, carried away in the tide.
So what do you label yourselves then right now?
I wouldn't label us as anything other than just an extreme band, a Cradle of Filth. Does that sound pretentious?
No.
That we're kindly avant-garde, supernal,
Majestic.
yeah, gothic, strategic black metal.
Sarcastic black metal.
A thinking man's thrash.
What are your opinions then on the Norwegian black metal scene, like the flood of bands, the arsons, you know, the Inner Circle and all the imprisonings and all that crap? What do you think about that then?
It was.
fart?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Obviously it made a big impression across the world, and this is like clockwork. and just like switch off now and go into the same old prattling. I think it was a good thing because it showed people that music can affect people in a really strong context. So much so that you had kids, because they were kids, because they obviously didn't think about their actions, because they're all in prison. So
Right.
you know, what good are they doing now? You know.
Yeah.
How can they continue their war against Christianity from the inside of a prison?
Bend over. I don't know. Whatever. What do I know? All right, you guys.
I hope you don't know very much about it at all.
I don't.
With that mic.
It's not like that at all. You guys toured with Emperor a few years ago, right? Or not?
That's right.
Okay. Until recently, you both had the I don't know what your look is now. Obviously, I haven't seen you live, but you had the Norwegian kind of look, the paint and all that. And now, both bands, among others, have taken off the look and are going more just whatever, big spikes and that. Was that a reason for changing for you guys as a band?
I think it was because it just makes you go really spotty. Yeah. No, I think people just grow up, people mature, and not in the sense like where the music all becomes really, really sort of widdly and what have you. I mean, sort of mature in a way where you think, originally when you started wearing corpse paint, it was meant to look scary. A lot of the people that are wearing it nowadays come across looking like badgers or pandas. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? When Martin Ain would do it, when people in the Bauhaus were doing it.
Yeah, it's like anything, you get desensitised, don't you?
Yeah.
Like horror films aren't scary anymore, you fucking see it all.
Yeah.
So, corpse paint stops scaring people when everyone's wearing it.
Yeah.
And also there's that big issue where everybody reckons that the band's a t-shirt, the band's image. So bearing that in mind, we were kind of torn between, I guess, trying to let the music speak for itself and not trying to push ourselves too much on the image kind of thing. But then again, I said earlier that we just got up and did that, that particular day we were in that frame of mind.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, it's not really a conscious effort, because sometimes we'll go out to gig and we'll, like, really get donned up in all the muck. And other times we wouldn't be so carefree about it and probably just go as we were.
Okay. Well, with that, we're going to check out Emperor's new video. We'll be back in a little bit. right, hey, what's going on? We're back with Stuart and Danny from Cradle of Filth, and you guys are now signed for Music for Nations. How do they treat you? I know that Paul is sitting over there, so if you want to badmouth her, you really can't.
Rubbish. Rubbish. No, it's really good. We've got a very good. Well, they bought us this bottle of beer. Get a close up.
Everywhere with us now. We've had that for just over a year.
It's the only thing we've ever got out of a record company is this bottle of beer. Crap one as well. Yeah. No, it's really good. It's quite a good partnership. They allow us to do a lot of the things that. See, this is going back to the image kind of thing. We've always maintained the same philosophy. We're stronger, opinionated now about how we should look, how we should feel, more about the music now. We've just been able to achieve what we wanted to do in the first days, but now we've got some cash behind us.
Right.
Do you know?
Yeah.
So we're able to do the things that we wanted to do, the production, the artistry, etc.
Okay.
So yeah, the label provides all that, and compared to a label like Crapped Off on us Records who, didn't pay us, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Your new album is entitled Dusk and Embrace. How's that compared to your previous works, and how are the sales so far?
Ask Paula. Paula, what are the sales?
How are the sales, Paula? Very good in the States, she said. Okay. How would you compare that to your other works?
I think it has a more ethereal sound. It's a bigger production. It's more sort of lush sounding. We tried to get a soundtrack quality to the record.
Like a movie, you mean? Or a movie soundtrack?
Kind of, yeah. We didn't want to make it sound like there were just 6 of us banging away on instruments. We wanted to make it sound, as you say, like a film soundtrack.
Spacious. Because we had use of a real studio, we could fire as many keyboards as we wanted to give it a really huge sound. Instead of being limited by what the studio can do, which is what happened with Empire.
It does seem like that album was recorded in a more mature way. What went on during this recording that made it different from Principles and Vampire?
The extra 6 weeks or so. It took a very, very, very long time.
For Vampire and Principle, we literally had all of us, including backing singers and people that came and did the cello parts and that, everybody shared a room like this to sleep in. It was fucking hellish.
Yeah.
That was the difference. We had a hotel. It does actually impress upon the music if you're actually comfortable when recording it. I think that's probably why the second record sounds really vicious, is because we were in a pissed off kind of mood.
Yeah.
Really pissed off.
Yeah, we were getting every angle when we did that.
Yeah.
Everyone was
We were sharing
having
each
a go.
other's flu, weren't we?
Yeah.
That's what I remember about that record.
Really?
It was very cold.
A friend of ours toured Europe a few years ago with this hardcore band, and he said you got to take shits in these big holes in the floor. I don't know, is that true? Where you live?
No, in England.
That's France. Isn't it?
France.
France? Okay. Yeah, I
They
don't know.
love
I don't
shitting in
remember
holes.
where he was.
Yeah, they do like shitting in holes in France. Belgium, what have you, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking primeval, isn't it?
Nasty. All right.
I haven't mastered the art of it yet. It's a real worry, getting you have these grooves in the floor. I'm alright to talk about this,
Yes,
I've got a sense of this or anything. You have these grooves in the floor each side and a hole that stinks. And somehow you've got to squat over it and get it in such a way that you don't plop in your own boots. That's the art, not doing that. They've practiced it, they really have. I got a hole in one in Italy, I was really chuffed.
Over the last few years, you guys have had a lot of lineup changes going on for the band. What's the story with everybody and the reasons they left and now you're new people?
Actually, we haven't had any lineup changes. We're just really good with wigs. I'm actually Nick, the drummer. Just I haven't got my skinhead wig on today. Recently, we just parted ways with our keyboardist, Damien. And if you just want to pan round to his replacement over there, Les.
Les?
Les,
Les?
as in leather.
Okay.
Oh, French, isn't it? Lesbienne. We had a split with like the band's literally split in half after Principle, and we went through some. I mean, that was down to all the court and the fact that we'd taken a record company to court and they hadn't paid us and what have you. It was a really difficult time for the band. We were fucking living on bread and water and that kind of thing. So that was pretty hideous. So that's what instigated that separation. And we never managed to find a second guitarist until now. So we were using, like, literally every show a different person, like a friend or someone from another band. On the Vampire album, we used a guy called Jared Demeter from December Moon.
Okay.
It was just like people, every time people came to the show, there was someone else there. But that was because we wanted a stable lineup, 6 people that we could really, really work with. And it was really hard to find the perfect second guitarist. Fortunately, we still haven't found him. No, people seem to think there's a revolving door in Cradle of Filth. Do you know what I mean? That people come and go as they please. It's not the case. It's just, I mean, we're not hard people to work with. The thing is, we're so easy to get on with. We've got to find someone that fits our kind of humour, the way we live. We all live out in the countryside. It's really rural. A lot of people can't cope with that. It's a difficult thing being in this band.
I heard a band by the name, I think you pronounce it Hecate Enthroned, is that right? I know, I have to. It's been compared to Cradle of Filth in its vocal and musical styles, and one of the former members is in that band, right? So
it's actually the bass player, and I think that was the only person we actually threw out without any consideration, you know, for their feelings or anything, straight out because he could not play the bass. So inevitably he went off and started singing for this band, Hecate Encloned almost.
Okay.
Yeah, and they are literally, funnily enough, exactly the same as us. I listened to their new album with wonderment because I'd heard so many things about how they were going away from the delivery of being like Cradle of Filth, and then we put the record on, we just pissed ourselves because it had all the riffs that we fucking hated on some of our records. You know, think, oh god, cringeworthy, that riff. They were all on this record, just played backwards or fucking, it's just nonsensical rubbish, that album.
You guys even had Brian Hipp from Brutality playing for a while. What's the deal? I mean, the reason I ask is because, like, I see that kind of guy. He's like a death metal guy. How does he fit in with your image? You know what I mean?
This is going back down to genres again, and that's what I'm trying to say. That we sort of genres mean shit. It's all in here, and it's what, you know. If you're into tragic, sort of haunting music and what have you, it doesn't matter where you come from, whether you played fucking ambient music at one point or another. Branding him a death metal guitarist doesn't mean that he hasn't got a brain to come up with, you know, like good material. He was very good. The only reason that we didn't keep him on permanent was because he'd already had a bad car accident where he lived in Florida. He then moved to Europe, and that's where we met him. And he'd fucked all his leg up and what have you. So when was it? It was just before he went to go in to do the Vampire album. It started playing up again. He had to rush off on a really, really drastic surgery to it, and he just couldn't honour his commitment to the band. He had to go back to America. He also had a girlfriend in Germany, so, you know, it was difficult, really difficult.
I guess we already hit on this question, but Damien wasn't able to make the trip, and
He isn't in the band anymore.
okay, so that answers that question. All right, so you have the new guy from, he was formerly in Anathema. So speaking of that, we're going to check out their new video, Hope, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
my brain. I hear you across the room. See a daffodils begin to bloom. You are the mist, the frost across my window pane. And again, she moves her body and her whispers weep. And the world spins and tells me that I'll never want to leave. When I look at you from this dark century, it must always be with generosity that we both may share the hope in hearing that we're not just spirits disappearing.
All right, you're back watching The Dark Hour. I'm still here with the guys from Cradle of Filth. And my next question would be that most bands who play black metal, not most, but a good portion, kind of sound like shit. I mean, you know, seriously, I don't mean to be a dick about it, but they're trying to get that dirty sound and whatever. Why didn't you guys fall into that trap?
Because originally, the dirty, it's going back to this whole thing about image and the makeup and everything. Bands that, like Bathory, you know, the influences, Ghost Rider, Early Destruction, etc., or Venom even, all those bands at that time were really original. They did not have loads of money to go and produce albums. They did the best things they could, like Bathory had, I don't know, X amount of money, went and did their albums with quite a low budget. It makes me laugh that everybody's trying to imitate that sound, not realising, you know, with lots of money nowadays. You know, Osmos Records throwing, you know, bands wads of cash and then coming back with something that sounds like a bumblebee in a matchbox. It's just... We always wanted people, if we spend a lot of time, which we do, rehearsing, writing material, getting riffs perfect, why the fuck do we want to bury that beneath a like shitty production?
Yeah.
It just wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
You guys play under the banner Supreme Vampiric Evil. Where did this concept of vampirism, you know, come from? You know, and what does it mean to you guys?
It's just something that we've always been interested in. When you live in England, because a lot of the folklore and the writings of, you know, like Stoker and Shelley and stuff was, you know, British, let's say, because you can't ignore the Irish here. It was just a big influence on our lives, and we live in a portion of England that it's sort of very steeped in folklore and supernatural. It's actually titled the Witch County. So we've always had that as a... I mean, you come from a part of the world as well, part of England that's
Yeah,
you know,
southwest England, same kind of thing. That's where Stonehenge is. There's a lot of stone circles. There's the castle where King Arthur was supposed to have been Bunny Grap around it. And so you develop an interest in that sort of thing. And I think my first contact with vampires was watching Hammer films when I was a kid.
Yeah, Hammer.
Christopher Lee, the definitive vampire. And that's where it all started for me. And still now they're my favourite vampire films. They're not equal even.
Yeah. What did you think, though, of the big Hollywood production of Interview with a Vampire? Good, bad?
In its own way, it didn't follow quite truly to the book.
Yeah, that's
What I've heard. Soundtrack's really nice.
Yeah, soundtrack's good. Yeah, it was... I might slag it off here, but it was a lush film, but Hollywood has this sort of kind of weirdness to it where it always has to interject some kind of, I don't know, weird relationships throughout films. It always has to have a happy ending or something, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like Independence Day, that was going to be thought that was going to be like the definitive War of the Worlds type of total global apocalypse. And what do? They fuck it up again, don't they? Because they have to have the token coloured person, a token Jew, the token white person, all get together happily and save the world by just being crap. You know what I mean?
By being liberal, saving the universe through being liberal.
Yeah.
That's what Hollywood do. You know, they try.
Because it has to appeal to everyone. They want to make as much money as they can. They're not in it for making the apocalypse film.
No, otherwise it would have been a fucking X, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
You know?
I wouldn't see Independence Day be 90 minutes of destruction of the Earth, so yeah, that's all I wanted.
Yeah.
Filmed live.
Yeah, live destruction.
Danny, you write the majority of the lyrics for the band, is that right? For the most part? Okay. What things inspire your writing?
Well, as I said before, all the things that have been forbearing on growing up, you know, from youth, watching like English Hammer films, always been really steeped in like folklore and what have you. I guess that's just an influence, and just trying to give the message across that of just total majesty. I think normality is so fucking boring that I think that's why we do go overboard with lyricism and artwork and everything in the band, is because we want to interject a little bit of fantasy in people's lives. And fantasy doesn't differ really from reality. If you live in fantasy all the time, that is your reality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can actually make, you know, shape your own life. You don't have to be governed all the time. I think that's the driving force behind everything, including the lyrics.
Okay. All right. All right, we're going to take another break. We're going to check out the At the Gates video, Blinded by Fear, and we'll be back.
We are blind to the world within us, waiting to be born.
All right, we're back on the Dark Hour here with Stuart and Danny from Cradle of Filth. What bands did you guys grow up listening to, like influences and stuff like that?
It was the big wave of speed metal, I think, was the first big interest that all of us in the
German
band had. European thrash. Like that sort of circa 85,
No.
86. There's loads of really good German bands, The Creators and Destruction. And
Sodom.
Saw them living death, of course. And Iron Maiden. That's one of my all-time favourites, early Iron Maiden records.
We used to go up and listen to anything that was of a horror nature, you know, like Misfits, for example, stuff like that. Anything that just, you know, you just thought, fuck, that's great. I don't think it matters what you listen to, you know what I mean? As long as you enjoy it for yourself, because it moves you. It's all going back to this fucking barriers of genres again, isn't it? Like, I'm into a really brutal death metal, I won't listen to anything else, type of thing. But good to be diverse, I think. Enriches your life.
Good. A number of your T-shirts have, or at least one I know of, have stirred up kind of a controversy over in England. What's the background with that?
This is where total irony comes in, because we've been slagged off so many times by just people saying that we're trying to create press by instigating some kind of controversy, as you say, with back prints and that. The total irony is that the shirt, Jesus is a cunt, has been out for about 4 years. In fact, it was one of the first shirts we ever did, and it's only now that we've had how many, about 3 or 4 major arrests in England. It's actually banned in England. They reintroduced a 140-year-old bylaw just to find a reason to prosecute someone, because they couldn't think of any other reason. They got him on religious grounds rather than
profanity law, wasn't it? Profanity against God or some shit.
In fact, a drummer,
Unbelievable.
Uncle Pester. Sorry, Nicholas was arrested. We were going out to do the Dynamo Festival, and as we were arriving at the port, the bus decided to fucking give up its ghost and died on us. Boiling hot, so he decides to take a walk. Unfortunately, we're parked right next to a police station. There's him and his Jesus cunt shirt. The guy who arrested him just so happened to be a superintendent who was highly religious. And he was lucky to come over. Well, we were lucky to come over because we couldn't really do it without a drummer. Because we flew yesterday, Thursday, and on Wednesday he was in court in Dover about the shirt. It was fined something like 200 English pounds.
Wow. So what's
Which
like
is about $1 million of your, how do you say, American dollars?
Yeah. No kidding. How much?
Is that accurate?
That's what I
think
300 and-
when I went to England last October, so
Wow.
for every
So-
pound it's $1.65.
Okay. So about $350. Wow.
Is that taking into account the Wall Street crash, though?
Okay.
It's a totally ridiculous thing. I mean, I can see the viewpoint behind it. Yeah, the shirts are you know, I actually feel a tinge of guilt if I was wearing one walking down the street and a young, you know, like a little child would go, look at that. I actually do feel a pang of guilt, I must admit. They are very controversial, and but then again, everybody's entitled to free speech, and that's the whole point about this band. We want to try and test people, and we don't do it all the time. There's just a few things that we feel that we have the right to say. People have the right to put on banners on walls, Jesus loves you, turn to the church and you will not burn in hell. You know, what kind of fucking message is that?
Yeah, he must be a cunt.
I think it's, you know, everybody's entitled to free opinion. Everybody's entitled to say what they want. And you don't like the word cunt in America. It's a bit of...
I don't care, but I don't think women like it too. Is it? Okay, well, she's more open-minded, I think, than most, though. Yeah. You've been labeled the biggest black metal band in England, and even... Yeah,
Oh, God, what an honour.
yeah. But you've even been compared to Venom. You know, I mean, I don't know, how does that...
Well, that in itself is an honour, because, as we said before, we grew up listening to Venom. But I don't think it's that much of a tag to say that we're the biggest black metal band in England, you know? You could say that we're the biggest ever band that's come from Hadley, Suffolk. Yeah. It's like 10,000 people live there. Wow. Yeah. Divinity is bestowed upon us. The annals of history will not be the same. No, I mean, yeah, it is good saying that. We just want to be remembered for the music and what have you. That's it. Not stupid fucking tags.
Yeah. You guys have Chevys over there in England?
Chevy?
Chevrolet, like Ford, whatever. You guys have that kind of stuff?
No.
Cars?
Yeah. I mean, there's...
Trap horses.
Those little tiny things. So you don't get anything over there? I don't know. That's kind of a stupid question, but just kind of curious.
Now we get foot cups.
Yeah. This past March, Paula told me that you guys were going to be filming your own movie. Is that still in the works, and what's the concept? If
That's a bit of a sore point, actually, because we began filming it, and it was quite a complicated process that was interrupted by a 6-week tour of Europe. When we came back from the tour and endeavoured to go on to the next stage of shooting, the brother of the director decided, well, he didn't decide to have a car crash and die, he just did. And so that kind of interrupted the schedule. And after that, I think the record company had already ploughed about £6,000-7,000 into it, decided to leave it because we, as I said, we're writing new material. And we just thought, well, we've got the footage already, that'll be a contribution too. We're going to start filming it again, I reckon, towards the end of the summer, as the nights draw in, nights get a little bit longer.
Yeah.
That way we don't have to have fake leaves in it.
I also heard that you're working on a new EP. Are you still doing that, or is it going to be?
It's an album now.
It's going to be a full length.
Yeah.
Okay. When is that supposed to be due out then?
Whenever we finish writing it.
I suppose.
Before the end of the year, hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. Is it? How would you compare to Dusk and Her Embrace now then?
I'd say it was like a combination between the Vampire album, the sort of brutality of that, and that soundtrack quality of Dusk, sort of mixed together, and just made, it's generally a lot better. Do you know what I mean? It'd be fucking ridiculous for us to sit here and go, well, it's not quite as good as the last album, but it will do. No, we think it's tops. It's
more extreme.
Yeah.
That's much more extreme. It's really, really violent, some of it.
Yeah. But I wouldn't say, people get the wrong impression if I say it's got a groove to it, but the riffs and the melodies do stick in your mind, but as he says, it's a lot more fucking harder.
Okay. Do you have a tentative title yet?
No. Could think of one. Soapy Titwank.
Okay. Let's check out Obscenity's video, Shot and Spiel, on Morbid Records, and we'll be back in a little bit.
Hello, my name is Alexis, and I'm not in a band. I happen to be a dancer, an exotic dancer. And I just get really hot when I'm watching The Dark Hour.
All right, we're back with Cradle of Filth. What do you guys do with all the groupies that crowd around your dressing rooms and want to get naked?
No. We all got our own girlfriends. In fact, a lot of us are about to be married, so...
How's the, how are you going to be married? What's your, you know what I mean? I mean, it's obviously not going to be traditional church,
No,
you
no,
know.
of course not. We're still debating that, actually.
Yeah.
I was going to go abroad to get married just to get out of the sort of family routine type thing, because there's parts of my family obviously don't. God knows why. I really cannot see why they don't understand me.
Yeah. I don't know.
But they think I'm God's gift to the planet, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little halo above my head.
Or crown of thorns, whichever.
Hello.
So, I don't know. We've been so busy this year, we haven't really turned our attention towards it. We managed to talk our way out of that question quite amicably, didn't we?
Yeah.
Really, really did. Groupies?
So everybody's pretty much involved then?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay. Is that pretty hard though when you're touring and all that, you know, or do they come with?
No, they don't. I think it's anathema as well, isn't it, to bring a woman along. They couldn't put up with us anyway. We stink when we're away.
Can you imagine the chaos?
Yeah.
Small tour bus, spouses, jumpers for goalposts.
Yeah.
Enduring image, isn't it?
Yeah. I told my roommate, who isn't into this type of music, that I was interviewing you guys, and I showed him that picture. It was on the front of that magazine too, where you're sitting like this and you got your head back with blood all over. And you know what I'm talking about, obviously. Okay, and
Hit magazine, is it?
yeah, but mine's in a different one, but it's pretty much the same. There you go.
Stop that. Fuck's sake.
And he's like, isn't that a little bit childish? What's your reaction to people who say stuff like that?
Is it a little bit childish? I suppose to a lot of people it would be, but
Like a care.
yeah, it's like we give a fuck, really. You know, we're into this kind of thing. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but then again, there has to be like a little footstool for everybody's got their part in life. It just so happens that we like, you know, the darker aspect of you know, if everybody was a colour, we're the black ones.
Yeah.
And we're quite pleased about it.
Yeah.
And we're doing our own thing. We're getting on. We've got passion for it. You know, we really believe it. We'd rather be doing this than fucking doing some 9 to 5. We just, you know, soul draining work.
Yeah.
We'd rather be in a soul draining band on a soul draining record label.
Your previous works have been full of like naked women, vampirism, and perversion, maybe you could say almost. And the new one was, except, you know, with the exception of the one picture, what?
That's colouring people's. I mean, people who don't understand or never seen the band before will think that will get the wrong impression about the band. It's not naked women. It's sometimes semi-naked women. It's all done with taste.
Right.
We consider it art.
I do too.
It's an art pamphlet, not a porn magazine.
All right. What's your stage show like? If you can reveal that before we see you.
We do loads of different things. The trouble is, we usually do more grander things in England because obviously it's accessible to the concert. You know, we've got everything on hand. When we have to fly out, I mean, I think actually, can I say this on air? We were actually losing about $9,000 US playing this concert.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just a one-off.
Yeah.
We're doing it because people in America haven't seen us before,
Right.
and we wanted to play it. Milwaukee's always been like a focal point for extreme music. It's something that we've always wanted to do, and so that's why we're doing it. I just wanted to stress that point that people think that, you know, it's a free ride. It isn't. We're losing out doing it, but, you know, what the fucking hell, you get to do it once, perhaps.
Yeah.
So bearing that in mind, we've been very liberal with what we can do. I mean, we couldn't fly Stonehenge over, you know.
Yeah.
We've got some erotic dancers for Milwaukee. We've got a fucking amazing light show. That's if Venom don't nick all the lights and deny us using them. We've got our own lighting guy, which we work really closely with. It's fucking amazing. You have to see it for yourself, and everybody else who didn't see it, well, it's tough, isn't it? I can't really go into the lengths of talking about it.
Okay. What's the craziest shit that's ever happened to you guys when you're touring?
Anybody?
Anything crazy ever happened to anyone in this room?
Yeah.
Go on then.
Go on then. Get bit by a dog. Oh yeah, that's
We're
crazy.
so stressed out from, yeah, that's alright.
I'm running over.
Well, back to going on tour, the reason, like, the stresses of tour is that it does stink after a few weeks, and we were so fucking stressed out after weeks and weeks of being in this little box that we all thought it would be cool to beat the shit out of each other. You know, proper fists and boots and blood and everything. So we did that for a couple of days and sort of spent the rest of the tour, like, walking around, hobbling.
Yeah.
And that's the most extreme thing we've done, is it?
No, we do that. You know, when you've got nothing else to do. I suppose it's a good alternative.
Loads of weird things happen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's pretty. One interesting thing, we were thrown out of the Vatican in Italy, yeah. I was wearing a I was wearing nothing, sorry, on top. It was that fucking hot. And we were ordered by these guards they have there, like Gestapo police or whatever, the Polizia in Italy, to put our shirts back on. And I literally put on a Jesus Cunt shirt, and that was cool. I was allowed to walk around the Vatican in that.
God.
But I wasn't allowed to walk around topless. Can you fucking believe that?
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, that's pretty strange.
Like the equivalent of walking around Harlem KKK house. Yeah. Not very nice.
Well, we're going to check out some live Cradle of Filth now from a couple of years ago. We're running out of time, aren't we? We got to go. Okay, so this is it. See you on the next episode. Thanks a lot, you guys. Appreciate it.
Cheers.